Okay, hey everybody. As we work on English today, we are looking at the object of the preposition on page 277. So yesterday you started working with your prepositions and you're working on memorizing that list. And you remember that prepositions show us the relationship between two things. So the rabbit is behind Stephanie. Behind is a preposition showing us the relationship between rabbit and Stephanie. Not relationship like friendship, but relationship as like the location of two things, how they are related to each other in the room or in the space. The rabbit is on the floor. On is a preposition connecting rabbit and floor. The rabbit is under the desk. Rabbit connected to desk. Under is the preposition. So that word that the subject is connected to is called the object of the preposition. The noun or pronoun that follows the preposition in a sentence is called the object of the preposition. A prepositional phrase begins with a preposition and ends with the object of the preposition and includes all of the words between them. The words that would come between them would be adjectives. That's it. Couldn't be anything else. You have a preposition, an object of the preposition that's a noun or pronoun, and then there may be some adjectives in between them. But we call that the prepositional phrase, and we often use parentheses to mark the prepositional phrase. So in the first section, we have to circle the object of the preposition in each prepositional phrase. Number 1, down the basement stairs. Stairs is the object. It's always going to be the last word in the phrase. Number 2, inside the large circle. It would be circle. You see here we have the preposition inside. We have the and large, which are adjectives describing the noun circle. Number 3, around the next corner. Circle corner. Number 4, under the bed. Circle bed. Number 5, beside the white fence. Circle fence. Number 6, with my friend. Circle friend. See, in all of those phrases, it's the last word. And in all of those phrases, the word you circled is a noun. It's a person, place, or thing. So now as you go into the next section, you have to put parentheses, remember that's those curved lines, around each prepositional phrase. One sentence has 2 prepositional phrases. And you can look at the back of your grammar handbook for a list of prepositions, or you could turn back to the page from yesterday and see that list of prepositions. So in number 7, the Federal Lighthouse Service started in 1789. Well, in is the preposition, so in 1789 is our prepositional phrase. Number 8, Congress wanted a national system for American lighthouses. For is a preposition, and so after that you look for the next noun, lighthouses, for American lighthouses. Number 9, in 1939, the U.S. Lighthouse Service joined with the Coast Guard. We have 2 in this sentence, in 1939 and with the Coast Guard. In and with are both prepositions. See, if you don't have your list memorized, it's going to be a little bit tricky to try to find them in the sentence. So memorize that list of prepositions. And then you just go all the way until you get to the noun at the end of the phrase. Number 10, years ago, lighthouses were run by keepers. By is a preposition. By keepers is the prepositional phrase. Today, a system of automation controls most lighthouses around the world. Around is the preposition. Around the world, prepositional phrase. Okay, practice with your song on YouTube, your list of prepositions. Make sure you're getting those memorized so you'll have them ready for 5th grade. Now, as we move to reading class, we're starting our Unit 6 today, and we have a story called God's Creation. It's taken from Genesis chapters 1 and 2. This is a Bible retelling, the story of God's creation. Vocabulary words. We have image, multiply, subdue, and suitable. The mirror reflected an image of my freckled face and curly red hair. An image is a picture. When the geese on our pond started to multiply, we knew they were coming back from their winter in the south. Multiply means to increase, get more. The children found it hard to subdue the overly excited dog because it weighed 50 pounds. Subdue means calm down. Would Goliath be a suitable name for our pet mouse? Suitable means would it fit, would it make sense? So the big idea in today's story is that people have many explanations about the creation of man, but only God's account is true. We know God is truth and God's word is true. And so the Bible account of how the creation of man, is the true account. So a Bible account is a true story from the Bible. So I would like you to read these pages here about the story of creation. Starting on page 606, please be sure you read the introduction. That's an important part. And then read all the way to page 611, where you've got the story finishing up. Then, after you read the story about God's creation, you're going to go to page 241 in your workbook. And notice this is an assessment page. So you need to take pictures of this page and either post them on Class Dojo or email them to me, the front and the back of this page, so we can grade it and get credit for it. This is an accuracy grade. I'm checking to see if your answers are right on this one since it's an assessment. And so on page 241, you have to match the day of creation to the description. We've done a lot of that this year, so hopefully it's not too bad. Look back in your book if you need to find the list. Then write the answers to the questions down below. And on the back of the page, you have a little circle chart where you need to write the character trait of God that's shown in his actions. So which of those descriptions is God being all powerful? Which is where he's being faithful to provide? He's giving man what he needs. Which one is where he is being good? Which one is where he's being holy? Holy means he's without sin and he cannot be around sin. So as you read those different descriptions, you're looking for when is God showing power? And write all powerful. When is he being faithful to give man what he needs? When is he being good? And when is he being holy without sin? Then mark the synonym for the vocabulary word down on the bottom of that page. And remember to make sure you get Miss Wiggins a picture of those two pages. In any way you need to send them to me, please get Mom and Dad to help you give those to me. Then for spelling today, you're on page 119, practicing here with the endings of these words. So write the correct ending on the lines and then rewrite the word. Then match the spelling word to the clue. Write the spelling word that completes each analogy, each comparison, and then write the spelling word that belongs in each category, goes with those different meanings.